May the words of my mouth and the meditation of our hearts be acceptable to you, O Lord, Creator, Redeemer, and Sustainer. Amen. Romans is an interesting epistle. Paul was writing to a group of people who he was about to visit. He'd heard a lot about this early Christian community from all of his friends and from Peter, and about their ongoing issues between the initial Jewish Christians and the newer Gentile converts to the faith. There was a dispute. Who was better? The non-Jews who had just recently come to the faith, or the Jews who had this old and glorious faith to which they were adding to more and more each day? It sounds like, to me, it's almost like an argument we could be having today. Who's better, the Baptists or the Episcopalians? You know, that kind of thing. Or who's better, cradle Episcopalians or those that aren't quite as new to, as old to the faith? You know, those that came in just recently. I mean, who's better, those that know all the Episcopal traditions and the bywords and the acronyms and stuff like that and love them, or those that bring in the new, fresh ideas and have such an ongoing, lively faith? It's an old argument. Paul had heard all of the arguments, and in this epistle he tries to explain that though the old ways are great, after all, he's one of the old guard, so to speak, he tells them the new people are just as worthy, just as beloved of God as they are. God doesn't make distinctions between people, he says. We do, and we should stop. Now, when I returned to Maine from my adventures on the road and in other parts of the country, I discovered, or I should say rediscovered, a phrase that I had heard many times in the past but had just gone over my head. But now, since I was returning from 25 years of being in other places, I found it suddenly jarring. And here's the phrase. They're from away. Now, I guess it would be one thing if I felt that when people were saying this, the term was merely descriptive, as in, they're not from here, they're from away. But I will say, oftentimes that's not how it's said. Sometimes the words are laced with a little extra something. They're from away. I mean, I know you know what I'm talking about. And so was I hearing in this a little bit of dismissal of these people that weren't from here? Was I hearing or getting a sense that Mainers are somehow more worthy than those that are from away? Now, it struck me that the only reason that I wasn't hearing these same things from people is because I was blessed to be born here and raised here, and my family was born here and raised here. As if that were the most important thing. Is it really an important thing? No, it's not an important thing. But letting people know that they'll never really fit, that they'll never really belong, is the subtle way, the subtle thing that I think people might be saying when they tell people they're from away. Jesus tells us that what comes out of the mouth proceeds from the heart. And this is what defiles. From out of the heart come evil intentions, murder, adultery, abuse, theft, lies, slander. So I thought, oh my gosh, have I said something inadvertently somehow that might have in effect dismissed someone or made them feel not as worthy of me? Made them feel less? Then I thought, sticks and stones will break my bones, but words can never hurt me. I'm sure we all know this lovely children's rhyme. We hear it when we're children. We learn it at school or from our parents, and I'm here to tell you it's a lie. It's a total and utter lie. Words can hurt, and words can kill. A woman I'll call Nancy confessed that she had had things happen to her in her earlier life, thoughtless teasing from a close family member who had wounded her deeply by, in front of relatives, in front of other people, joking with them about Nancy's weight problem. And Nancy was both mortified and angry. The relative, when Nancy told her this, just kind of brushed aside what she had to say and said, "I was just kidding. You know you look great," as if that would make everything all better. But Nancy was still really hurt. She said to me, "Poking fun at me made me feel even more insecure about my body and myself than I already did." The relative probably had no idea how much her jokes hurt me. There you go. I must say, I can get really angry at people who are dismissive when they're told how their words make others feel, and they respond, "Wow, he or she is just so sensitive. They need to develop a thicker skin." Why did they say this? I don't get it. To make themselves feel justified in saying whatever it is they like, whatever floats into their brain, no matter how much it might hurt somebody? To make it okay to hurt people with their words because they're being honest? I guess I will go back to the Bible and tell you about a verse from Proverbs that I think probably says it best. Words kill. Words give life. They're either poison or fruit. You choose. Maybe we should all think before we speak. At my house, I have this stone coaster that I got at a store in Belfast that I just love. And it says, "I need a speed bump between my brain and my mouth." And every time I see it, it makes me laugh. It just cracks me up because it's so true. Don't we all sometimes need a speed bump? Now, I'll share a story with you. I don't do this very often, but I'm going to do it today. During this pandemic, many people, including me, feel very isolated. I can say that's probably pretty nearly true of everyone. And in the early days of the pandemic, I spent a lot of time researching and developing new ways of communicating with all of you, trying to offer different ways we could stay in touch or pray at home. It was difficult because without being able to see or hear you, I couldn't tell what was effective and what was not. And often I felt I wasn't doing enough, so I started doing more and more and more in this misguided attempt to, I guess, see your face and know how I was doing. And I was so glad when Terry and I finally decided that we could figure out how to do these weekly videos that we've been getting ever since then for the last several weeks, including the one you're getting today. And the added bonus is it would be possible to get many more people involved, which to me was a win-win. Then someone in the congregation said they would welcome this new Sunday routine, and then we could get away from the Lisa show. The Lisa show. Ouch. I'm glad I cannot remember who said this, but I will never forget those words. I'm sure they did not say it to hurt me. I'm absolutely sure about that, but I'm not sure why they thought it was a good thing to say at all. Maybe it was their way of telling me that they too felt isolated and they wanted to see everybody else. But the words hurt. It made me feel like everyone thought I was doing these services and videos for my own aggrandizement, rather than the only way I knew to bring you worship while keeping everybody safely physically distanced. It made me doubt my own motives. It made me question myself. And it will probably be the only thing I carry with me when this all is over. We've all said thoughtless things. This is not something some of us do. This is something all of us do, every single one of us. I'm sure each and every one of us remember a time from our lives when words wounded us. I'm sure. In this upcoming political season, which many of us are already dreading, I can say that for me, we will once again hear people deriding political correctness in favor of just being honest. Political correctness, according to the dictionary, means using words that will not offend specific groups of people. The example the dictionary gives is, it's not politically correct to laugh at people with speech impediments. I don't care if it's politically correct or not. It's definitely not loving to do that. What we say matters a lot. Or, as Jesus says, what comes out of the mouth proceeds from the heart, and this is what defiles. So let's put politics aside, please, and let's go ahead and build that speed bump between our brains and our mouths. And at the very least, before we speak, let's all ask ourselves 3 questions. As followers of Jesus, I think it's important that we ask ourselves 3 questions. Is what we are about to say true? Is it helpful? Is it kind? Because words can kill. Words give life. They're either poison or fruit. We choose. Amen.